For 20 years, our house has experienced a lot.
He's back! Are you kidding me?
Triumph, defeat, heartbreak, euphoria. It's been home to legends, and legends in the making. We've watched homegrown kids grow up here and welcome friends who became family.
The ballpark is in a frenzy!
Like our fans, this place has developed a reputation. And that's just the way we like it. In a city bursting at the seams with history, our house has had its fair share.
Howling drive, way out of here!
Grand slam, Victorino! The Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series!
But it's not time to harp on history.
It's time to make more history.
He's gonna just watch it go!
Our team story is not done. It's barely been written.
Something's brewing with this team, John.
We're here for the long haul and the long ball.
That one is gonna be long gone!
It's been a fun 2 decades,
Son of a gun, I love this place.
but this is the only looking back we're doing
With a rainmaker!
because we're tired of knocking on the door. It's time to kick it down.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a New Year's Eve episode of Sorry in Advance Radio. I am the solo host tonight. My name is Sean. And anybody out there, thank you for joining me, and a Merry Christmas to everyone, Happy New Year, and all that fun stuff. Probably going to be a little bit of a short show tonight. I just wanted to kind of get on and kind of talk about a little bit of the MVP race after Week 17 and a little bit of baseball. There was some surprising moves that at least surprised me. I don't know about anybody else. It's been pretty clear that I'm a pretty big baseball fan out there. So just wanted to kind of get a little bit onto that. And hello, Mother. How are you? So with that being said, anybody out there who is watching, I don't want to take up your end of 24 any more than I need to, or that you want me to. So I don't know anybody else paying attention out there to the MVP race or what your opinion is or anything like that. I will get out there and obviously say, as a Philly fan, I would love Saquon Barkley to win. Scott has said it many times that he thinks Saquon will win if he breaks the record, if he breaks Dickerson's record. I'm more of the opinion that I don't think, even if he breaks it, he's still going to get it. I don't think they'll give it to a running back, especially nowadays. It just is not an award that you would see a running back really get. It's, you're going to see a quarterback get it. I don't know. Do you want to say every year or something like that? I mean, so here was my thing is looking at it from a pure statistical point of view. Here is what I came up with. And I have to give a big shout out to Dustin, who was one of the hosts of the TSN, for teaching me how to do this, because this was actually pretty cool sitting with him and him teaching me how to do this. So I spent a while kind of working on it. So I'm going to get my face out of there too. If you're going to, here's my top 4. What's up, Derek? Happy New Year. Allen, Barkley, Burrow, top 3. So, I know we talked about this a little more. I had to make it a top 4. Just looking at this and comparing the numbers and everything like that. This is in no order of who I think is, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's just funny seeing a lot of articles. I forget if it was ESPN or USA Sports or something like that. I saw 2 or 3 of them saying Josh Allen has this wrapped up in the bag. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd say that. I'd say it's pretty close between him and Lamar Jackson. And then we were all kind of talking earlier and just saying, like, does Burrow come up in the conversation? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I don't know, like, the Bengals aren't having like the greatest season. And then I went and looked at his stats, and I'm like, where the hell has he been in this conversation? Because I mean, if we're gonna go pure statistics, I mean, just passing statistics for quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen's at 307 completions at 483 attempts. I mean, I'm literally just reading this. I'm not pulling anything off the top of my head. 3,731 passing yards, 28 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions, and a passer rating of 101.4. Lamar Jackson's got, I mean, more than 200 yards passing in less attempts, 39 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, and a 121 pass rating. And then never mind the wrong slot. We'll get to that one later. And then you can add on his rushing stats too. That he's got 4 rushing touchdowns himself. Granted, I really thought that he would have more with the type of quarterback he is. It was very surprising to see that number. But then when you have Derrick Henry, it's just like, well, there had to be a subtraction a little bit somewhere. But still, a phenomenal year. I mean, he, barring, I don't know what the hell, anything, he'll eclipse 4,000 yards. Josh Allen, it's looking like won't eclipse 270. He could definitely do that. I don't want to say that too quick. But then you go ahead and look at Joe Burrow, 4,641 yards passing in, I mean, over 150 more attempts than Allen and Lamar Jackson. So you're literally talking about 3 different style quarterbacks. I think that the biggest thing that I don't know whether I should say the biggest thing, but one huge thing that we could say about Josh Allen to give it is he's got 28 passing touchdowns, but then 12 rushing touchdowns. And we know, I mean, it's literally almost a safe bet to bet on him to a rushing touchdown. But 531 yards rushing. But then again, you want to look at Lamar Jackson. He's got 852 yards rushing, but only 4 touchdowns compared to, Josh Allen's 12. So really, when you want to do a comparative stat between those two, it actually kind of made me laugh. I saw this on the NFL Twitter earlier, and there was a comment on there where the Ravens tight end was sticking up for Lamar Jackson just by simple math, and it was, I mean, if you're looking at it, I mean, does this make it clear as day that Lamar Jackson should be the MVP at that point then? You know what I mean? It's if you're going by a statistical thing, then what else is there? You know what I mean? It's what else are you supposed to go off of? I feel like it's a close race. It's fun to watch. You're going to get so many different people's opinions. But is it just between these two? And I've seen a lot of different lists between ESPN, USA Sports. I'm forgetting like 7 other ones that I saw before I came on. But it was sitting there, and it was like the top 5, top 7, and one had Saquon Barkley as 7. I would put him higher. Just me, I don't think that Patrick Mahomes should be in the top 5. That's just me. He's not having the same type of year. Not his 40, 50 passing touchdowns or anything like that. But with the year that Saquon Barkley's having, I'm putting him in the top 5 minimum. Or clearly for me, top 4. But I mean, if your Burrow D makes him play from behind so much, he has to, and I feel like it's bringing him more into the conversation, too. And I mean, really looking at it, he's, besides the combination of passing and rushing touchdowns for Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow is beating them all in quarterback stats. But again, like Derek just pointed out, he's playing from behind so much that he's got 150 more passing attempts. But then, I mean, you're looking at Saquon Barkley and his year he's having. Only 13 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, excuse me. He's averaging 5.8 yards. He's at 2005. rushing yards. He's 283, I think. I could just do math right there. 283 all-purpose yards. 2,283, excuse me. And 2 touchdowns. So 15 touchdowns for the year. He's having a ridiculous season. And to get onto that conversation with his record being broken, I've been back and forth with people, and I was kind of the mind where I just was thinking, do you play him this Sunday against the Giants? It's just like everything written on the wall. Like, man, his former team to break the all-time single season rushing record against the team that let you go, to re-sign Daniel Jones, who is gone. It's just like, could the Giants, and now the Giants just lost the number 1 pick. Could this just be the ultimate slap of the face for them, to where it's just like, could the Giants really get in their own way anymore? And yes, they'll find a way no matter what to get in their own way. But it was funny. I was, looking up a little bit with the statistics and the comparison between him and Dickerson. And so many people have so many opinions on this, which is fine. I have no problem with people having their opinion on this. And it's people are saying it should have an asterisk. It should it shouldn't necessarily. People are saying it shouldn't count, but he's not doing it because he had 1 more game, and then people are bringing up, well, Dickerson did it in 2 more games than OJ had it. We could go back and forth all day on this. Get the record and then let the Giants win. Would that help the Cowboys at all? If we just get the record, then let them win. I mean, we already know that, like, he'll probably get the record and then that's it. It'd be cool if he could just get it in the first quarter. Just get it done. Just hand him the ball. That's it. Kenny Pickett's playing with broken ribs most likely again, if he even plays. But it was fun. No, Jerry's still there. Yeah. So I guess the Giants and Jerry will find their own way to their own style of getting in their own way. So it was actually funny. I was looking at a quote by Ike Reese, who does, if none of you know, Ike Reese does our afternoon show from 2 to 6 on our local radio station. He's one of the few people I actually like. And he was talking about, Saquon breaking the record and should he play? And, it was, he made it pretty clear that yes, there's without a doubt you let him play. And if anything, leave it up to him. You leave it up to him because guess what? He also wants to win a Super Bowl. So if he really just doesn't care at that point, he cares. He's said as much. Then I'd still leave it up to him. You have a chance to break a record that hasn't been broken in 40 years. It got close once in the last 12, and it was by 7 yards. I mean, he's number 2, right? Not number 2. The top, I think number 7, something like that. But it's, do you leave it up to him? Do you take it out of his hands? And I kept thinking, like, man, if he doesn't do it in the first half, but then it's like, oh, you want to play the game? I said this to the guys the other night. Do you play the game where, or they brought it up? Do you play the game where it's, oh, well, what if he's only 30 yards short? What if it's halftime? Or you just play it by how it is? And that's where I'm just like, just let him get it in the first half, first quarter, whatever. Just get it done, get it out of the way. The Giants don't care. They're getting in their own way. Like, it's fine. So I started to kind of look at the comparison between the two players, between him and Dickerson. And it was actually kind of, I just wanted to show the closeness between them. And it's, if you're really looking at it, so here's what I have here. This is Eric Dickerson's 84 season, which is when he broke it, or when he broke the record in 16 games. 15, excuse me. No, 16. 15, excuse me. Did it in 15. He had one more game. Sorry. And then here's Saquon Barkley this year. So 16 games, obviously. He's got 34 fewer rush attempts I think that plays into it, even with the additional games. It's people going back and forth about should it can't oh, he's got an extra game, and then people pointing out yes, he's got but fewer rushing attempts, blah blah blah. I'm obviously not looking at the rushing yards or receiving yards at all, but 16 games, and the thing too is Eric Dickerson was 24. It has to go. It can't go without being said that at Saquon at 27. I mean, running backs don't last that long anymore in the league, and he's doing it now. His first year with a brand new team, 3 years older than him, and I think it was Eric Dickerson's second year in the league, if I remember correctly. I mean, Saquon has been in the league for a few years already. And if you're looking at it, it's incredibly close. It's looking at all of it. And again, I'm not comparing the skill. Saquon does a lot more receiving too. The yards per attempt is 0.2 yards. The rushing TDs, it's 1 separating them. But I mean, just seeing this here, this 16 game season, rushing attempts. Yeah, he's got more, but it's not like a positive thing in Dickerson's case. So anyway, looking at that, the age, the amount of games, yes, the rushing attempts, all that. I desperately, of course, want him to break it. How I want him to break it is to actually do it. Don't do it by like 1 yard. Like, I would love for him to like just crush it and just I don't know. A baseball term, blow it out the park, but it's looking at also some of the quotes from Dickerson about it. Him actually coming out and, they're asking about it, and he's being 100% on. It's like, no, I don't want him to break it. Like, and the people who are saying, oh, records are made to be broken, you obviously have never had a record. And I'm like, damn, dude, like, you're absolutely right. If you've held a record for 40 years, that's amazing. What if it's never broken? What if this is never broken? What if other records? What if Saquon does it and that's never broken? And then, Eric said he would love for his son to break it. But I mean, his comments though about Saquon Barkley, I'll read the quote here. It was when he went to the Giants, I said he'd never reach his potential playing for them. Mindful that New York drafted Barkley 2nd overall from Penn State in 2018. I saw that. I said, they're terrible. I felt bad for him. That they were stupid enough to let him go to a team in their division, that's on them. They ought to put the jackass suit on for that. Whoever made that call should be fired because that was dumb. I mean, I was putting it, all of Philly was putting it more of a thank you, Giants, for being so dumb. And then you keep Daniel Jones for a 4-year contract, and did he last half a season? And then I saw or no, this was nothing Giants related. Sorry. I was about to talk about the Cowboys, but I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to do that to you, Derek. But I mean, right now, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Saquon Barkley is 8th. He is 1 yard behind Chris Johnson, 2 yards behind Terrell Davis. Derrick Henry in 2020. Okay, excuse me, I missed that one. So I said 2012 for the last time it was close. But he's in amazing company. Everyone thought Adrian Peterson was going to do it in 2012. He came 7 yards short. I really say let him go for it. And he's 104. Yeah, yeah, that was my fault. I was mistaken. So I say let him go for it. Why not? I'd say leave it up to him if he wants to. It's the thing that Ike Reese was saying on our radio station was, giving it into the hands of the football gods, and he's just like, the year he's having, obviously they all want to win a Super Bowl. That's the main goal. And it's just like, for this to come out this way, to do it against your old team the very next year after they let you go, it's almost like, is it meant to be that he's supposed to do it? Whether it's in 17 games or not, like, whatever. With the way he's running, I bet he gets it first. That's, I don't know if you saw what I was saying. I said that. I'm just like, let him get it in the first quarter. I mean, he had 102 games ago in the first quarter. Unfortunately, they ended up losing the damn game against the Redskins. It's still the Redskins. Come on. Not the commies. I mean, he could get this in the first half. he could get it in the first 10 minutes. With the way that the team's playing. But and again, like especially because like if Kenny Pickett is still hurt, I mean he's still hurt, he's got broken ribs. But if they're playing Tanner McKee had what? I think 5 passes and he completed 3 or 4 of them and 2 were for touchdowns in last game. I think they'll run the ball. You're not, if they get up a lead, this game doesn't really matter or anything. Could you imagine him, Henry, and Bijan all going 1, 2, and 3 in rushing? It's insane. And again, it's besides Bijan. I mean, you have Henry and Saquon on a new team on their first year with a new team. And again, I think I remember hearing a lot about Derrick Henry too. Just they weren't sure that after Tennessee, got rid of him. I don't know if he's going to perform the same way he always did. And it was just like, I mean, he was almost a lock for a touchdown every single game, So anyway, with the MVP race, just to get back to that and kind of wrap this up, I don't think Saquon's going to get it, unfortunately. But like I said, for some of the news articles and stuff I was reading, I in no way think Josh Allen has this wrapped up. I'm sure sorry, I just saw this. Everyone kept saying Henry was done. I know he wasn't done. Tennessee is a trash team, big time. Tennessee and the Giants, man, can't get in, can't get out of their own way. So I don't know. I mean, the Bills, they wrapped up their division. The Ravens, they're 11-5. The Steelers are 10-6, and then the Bengals are 8-8. Like it's, and the Ravens just dismantled the Texans. I mean, that was such an embarrassing game. Like that really was such an embarrassing game for the Texans. I mean, and they're a playoff team, and it's just anyway. But I mean, if you're going to look at divisional, by division or anything like that, like the Bills are, I think it's going to be a lot closer than it's really is people are saying. I'd say Josh Allen with his gameplay, he's a league MVP. I'd put Burrow number 2 and Barkley tied for. So yeah, apologies, Brandon. I don't know if you heard what I was saying earlier. I was kind of saying the same thing is with the comparison just between, because I kept hearing Lamar and Josh were 1 and 2. I'm looking and I'm just like, what keeps Josh, if by a pure statistical standpoint, that that Lamar has over like 150 more passing yards, maybe 200. Yeah, over 200. Excuse me, my math is terrible. But it's 28 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, but Josh Allen does so much on his own. But then you look at Lamar's rushing statistics too. He's got 852 rushing yards, but only 4 touchdowns compared to Josh Allen's 12. So it's like you say, his individual gameplay and how he makes things happen. I mean, they all do. I think it's going to be fun. I think Burrow really is the sleeper in this conversation and shouldn't be. Like I said, when I was looking at some of these, it had Sam Darnold. I saw one that had Sam Darnold above Saquon Barkley, and I'm like, I appreciate the season Sam Darnold's having, but I'm like, come on, like no. It's that was the insane one, and like I said, there's no chance I have Mahomes over any of these guys. Burrow has done an incredible thing for the Bengals. They were all but dead to start, and he's right there to get his team to a shot. Absolutely, and Derek said it earlier, is what I guess what hurts, but also helps Burrow with his stats, is that Burrow's defense. They're behind so often that Burrow has so many pass attempts to bring them back that he has to pass to bring them back. Like he's got almost 4,700 passing yards. Like he'll have 4,700 guaranteed. But like 150 more passing attempts. That's insane. And Sam Darnold is going to bank themselves in with his gameplay. The Jets kicking themselves for letting. Yeah. He'll get paid. It's just awkward too, because we were talking about this the other day, is that the Vikings drafted a quarterback and Darnold's playing for a contract. And I mean, damn, he's earning it. I'm just saying, I don't think he's in this top 3 quarterback discussion. I guess I'll say that. So the excuse me, mouth's getting dry. The other thing I kind of wanted to wrap up, like I said, I just kind of had 2 quick topics I wanted to discuss a little bit. This was the MVP race going into week 18. And that other topic was a little bit of baseball. Not sure a lot of baseball fans out there, but I'm a huge baseball fan. So there was a lot of moves, and I am not talking about, Juan Soto or anything that's done and over with, but it was some moves that kind of surprised me. That I always like to guess. Me and Scott like to talk like where we'd like to see people, normal stuff. But we'll like make a lot of projections. And just try and get them right. There was like 2 or 3 that I was actually right, but still surprised on. One last time before I have to get off here, Cowboys a Super Bowl next year. Hey man, they let Zeke go. So let's see if he wins one before the Cowboys. My Falcons, if they were able to pull the rabbit out of the hat and win the division, I'm scared to face the Vikings and or Lions. If the Lions keep the Lions can stay healthy or can't stay healthy, man, you might want to play them. I mean, without Montgomery, they're just fading bad. I think that'll be fun. Either one. I think the Falcons are Penix. I always want to. I think everyone knows what we all want to say when we see his last name. He's playing very good, man. I love that he's playing good. You kind of wonder where they'd be if, nothing against Kirk Cousins, but he just, I don't know. He's just on his way out. I don't know. It was time, but that's going to be fun to watch. If they can win the division and then they have to face either team, man, that's going to be a fun game. I like London on the Falcons. Yeah, I don't know what's his name. Oh God, I had him on my fantasy team. The tight end, Pitts, absolutely drives me nuts. Absolutely drives me nuts, dude. I just want him to be good, and then all the time I'm like, dude, I don't know why I draft you. And then can you confirm this rumor I'm hearing? Justin Verlander and the Braves. His brother even mentioned it. I will say this. I don't like Ben Verlander. I really don't. I think dude has been, I don't know how to say this politely, living on his knees for Shohei Ohtani for so long. Anyway, so I haven't heard anything about the Braves. I mean, I heard the Phillies for Justin Verlander and for Max Scherzer, which I was like, I don't see that happening. Scherzer, I guess, if you wanted to take a chance, why not? And then maybe, because you know what, it depends on the deal. I guess I could see him going to the Braves. They lost Max Fried, who was probably their number 2 or 3. Soroka's gone. They have Strider coming back, but not until I think the 2nd or 3rd month of the season. He's their, without a doubt, number 1. I did hear like maybe the Brewers would go after Scherzer or Verlander. Excuse me. Everything I hear is that he's going back to. I don't mean hear like I know anything, but like read and see and stuff like that is that he's going back to Houston. He's definitely not retiring. I can guarantee that. I would love to see him win another one. I like him. I've always liked him. But I do think he kind of goes back to the Astros. That's just me. The staff for Atlanta all saying Kirk and now unable to play anymore. He's physically weak now. These saying Kirk and now on it. Kirk. Who do you mean Kirk? me see real quick. Oh, Kirk Cousins. Sorry. I thought we were talking about the Atlanta Braves still. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I thought we were still on the Atlanta Braves. My bad. Yeah, I was gonna say. So that's why it sucks. Like, so it seems like Kirk Cousins is on his way out. But hey, I mean, dude had he got paid a lot. He had a very interesting, excuse me, career. So here's the ones that really surprised me. Josh Naylor getting traded to the D-backs, and then the Guardians signing Carlos Santana, who he has played with, I think, twice. Carlos Santana. Josh Naylor, I was surprised that the Guardians traded him because I don't know if it's just not wanting to pay him. I mean, he's 27 years old. He hit 243 with 31 home runs and 108 RBIs last year. And he's, first baseman outfielder. But if I remember correctly, I am 99% sure he pretty much just played infield the majority of the year. Yeah, he played first base. Excuse me. Not a terrible infielder either. He had a .992 fielding percentage. So that one really surprised me, considering you're trading somebody to, for technically a minor leaguer. I mean, he's, he has 20. Let me see. He had 20 games last year for Arizona and 7 the year before. So a relief pitcher. That one, to me, was just like, all right, it's a salary dump. That one surprised me. I will say, let me get on here real quick. Corbin getting that $210 million deal, that's a big deal. I wanted Atlanta to get him and Crochet so badly. I think that one surprised me the most out of all of this. I had a feeling Christian Walker was going to leave, but Corbin Burns going to the Diamondbacks surprised me because until I saw that they live in Arizona, and I'm like, all right, that makes sense. Like he said, his wife, they have twins, wanted to be close to home, which to me, I'm like, well, you're still going to be away half the year, whatever. That one surprised me, especially after, I forget if it was the owner or GM came out and said that. He was like, yeah, it's my bad. I wish we never signed Jordan Montgomery. And I was just like, wow, that's, if you're being honest. And that was, I think right after that, Jordan Montgomery used his opt-in to stay with the team. That actually made me laugh. I'm like, wow, your owner or GM, whoever it was, said they regret signing you. And you're like, all right, well, now I'm pretty much going to screw you. I'm going to use my opt-in and get paid another $20-something million a year. And Brandon, I know you said you wanted Atlanta to get him, and Chris, everybody here in Philly wanted the Phillies to get Garrett too. I would have liked to have him. The asking price was a lot. It's I don't know. I'm happier with the deal that we got for Luzardo. We didn't give up anybody, in my opinion, that we were going to see soon. Like the shortstop that we traded, if you were to see some of the Facebook pages and stuff for the Phillies fan groups and all, people were like losing their minds saying, oh my God, like we gave up our top shortstop prospect. And I'm like, you do realize we have Trey Turner for another like 9 or 10 years. Were we going to leave him in the minors for 9 or 10 years? Or are we trading, Alec Boehm? Trying to, because the conversation always are removing Trey Turner second, moving him to the outfield. And granted, I doubt Turner plays out that whole entire thing, that whole entire contract. But all right, bro, gotta go to Friday, but check out our show, the Sports Nuts. Happy New Year, bro. Happy New Year, Brandon. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit, man. But it was just Trey Turner's not leaving anytime soon, so it made sense. And again, it was just with the shortstop we gave up. He was all defense and no offense, and we pretty much have that in the center fielder right now with Johan Rojas. So I'm like, all right, just one at a time. And we know Turner, if he can ever get everything going all together, can be a decent shortstop and hit 25, 30 home runs randomly, I guess, because he has power that doesn't make sense and just doesn't steal bases that much anymore. Paul Goldschmidt to the Yankees. Once Rizzo was gone, I think that's all anybody heard was Goldschmidt to the Yankees. But that I'm just like, Goldschmidt had such a down year, so the $12 million price tag made sense. I just was surprised. I mean, he went to a contender, so good for him. I guess I was surprised the Yankees got him for like they wanted him, if that makes sense. The Gleyber Torres to the Tigers, that one I thought was actually pretty cool. Especially after the last half of the season the Tigers had. They were so exciting to watch, and it was good to see. It really was cool to see. It was just them coming, making the playoffs, and then Scott and I on our predictions actually for the wild card round, I said I was like I bet the Tigers beat the Astros, and they beat them in the 2 games. And it was just cool to see the Tigers come back. Like, they've been such a crap franchise for the last few years. And then, when they got Javier Baez, I just was like, all right, good. I don't have to hear about him anymore. Like, I don't like him at all. But I love the AJ Hinch signing when they signed him to be the manager. I think AJ Hinch is a great manager, and he turned that team around. Granted, Tarek Skubal coming in helps. But I mean, Torkelson needs to get it going on there. There's a lot of things that they can get going, but that last half of the season really, really showed some promise for the Tigers. Christian Walker to the Astros was actually surprising, because I didn't think he would leave the Diamondbacks. That's all. He's been there for so long. I mean, he if I remember, he was pretty much there. Like, if it was his whole career, pretty much. He had 2 years in Baltimore, but he had 30 plate appearances, so that doesn't count. But I mean, the guy won 2 Gold Gloves with Arizona in the last 3 years. He won 3 out of the last 3. He's hit 36, 33, 26 home runs. He's a 250 hitter. Exactly. But I mean, 147 home runs, and the majority of them are in the last 3 years. So he came on at his age 31 season really, really strong. So offensively, he's gotten better, but he's 33 years old. He's going to be 34 in March. So you're getting him at the end for 3 years. And like I said, the Jesus Luzardo trade really was out of nowhere, because if you are a Phillies fan, if you're, follow them or anything, especially in the city, the city was getting so frustrated because our only moves were, excuse me, were Romano, excuse me. And it was just like, that was the biggest move. That was it. It's like, and Max Kepler, but it was the biggest move, I'm saying, was Jordan Romano. Sorry, I'm so sorry. My throat's getting dry here. But it was so out of nowhere, which I think Scott and I talked about. I talked about a bunch of my friends and all. It was just like, this is how the Phillies work. Every single rumor that was out there, the Phillies are in on Crochet. The Phillies, we're talking to Juan Soto. It was just like, no, they weren't. Hey, our GM, our president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski, comes out. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. And then Roki Sasaki. The Phillies, seem to be all in on Sasaki, and he comes, and our president comes out. He's like, we haven't even been invited to talk to him. Like, where it got laughable at some point, but it got so frustrating because we were watching the Mets make moves. Granted, besides Soto, to me, the Mets didn't really do anything. They don't have a first baseman still. Alonso's still a free agent. That's who I thought the Astros might go after. In that ballpark for a right-handed hitter, even the Red Sox, if they didn't have Tristan Casas. But it's just, it was getting so frustrating being a Philly fan here, watching the team do nothing. And then all of a sudden you trade for Jesus Luzardo, where, I mean, if he stays healthy, I mean, I'm taking that into account. I'm not, diminishing that at all. If he stays healthy, he could be we could have a top rotation in baseball. Like there's no, you can't deny that. I personally think the Phillies are maybe going to trade Ranger. With him being a free agent after this year, he just signed Scott Boras. He moved to the Boras agency, so he's going to get paid. And after his second half downfall, and that's being polite about it, it was he's going to get paid somehow. I mean, Boras always gets his clients paid. One topic I'd love to throw out there, which I'd love for people to like to message. I might put it up if you listen, or if you listen, after this, our show is always up on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. I might put a poll. I firmly believe that all sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, should all follow in the NFL, and there is a free agent period. It should not go as long as it does, which is whenever. There is no date. It should not last into spring training. You should know who you're playing for. I don't care what the agent says or anything. You have a month. I'll give you a month. Go interview with teams. Get it done. For the sake of your family and all that shit, just get it done. Pardon my language. So, with that being said, that was all I really had on the plate for today. So, thank you everyone for joining. My mother, Derek, Brandon, thanks for hanging out. It was good talking to everybody, and I hope everyone has a fantastic new year. I hope 2024 was good for you. If it wasn't, it's gone. It's done. It is out of here. Whatever. New year, new you, whatever you got to do. Stay positive. I have to say, go Birds, And I look forward to 2025 and hopefully us here at the Tired Sports Network. Sorry in advance. And Casey and his dad, the new show that's coming on too, I believe they are starting Thursday, which will be fun. Tune into that. So with that being said, everyone, Happy New Year. Have a good night. And we will see you guys next week. And I don't have an outro yet. So I'm just going to say goodbye. See you guys.